He's been wearing really loose clothes the last couple of weeks.
He's really skinny.
He's really skinny, and I didn't notice till this morning because he wouldn't, I asked him if he's okay, and he would not answer me.
When police arrived at a quiet Michigan home, they found a 15-year-old boy who had suffered in silence for far too long. His mother, Shonda Vander Ark, seemed too calm. What investigators would soon uncover about her and her eldest son, Paul Ferguson, would leave even seasoned detectives shaken.
She had asked you to put hot sauce on his private parts. We've tried so many different things. We just were running out of options of trying to find a punishment that would actually work. And even that did nothing. Right.
Paul Ferguson initially tried to convince investigators that his mother had only been trying to care for Timothy. However, investigators later uncovered evidence that contradicted his claims.
No, she said he's going to sleep in the bath all night tonight. He's sleeping in the bath all night tonight. And what happens later on that night? He dies.
On July 6, 2022, police were called to a quiet home in Norton Shores, Michigan, the home of 44-year-old Shonda Vander Ark. What they found inside wasn't any less than a tragedy. The report said it was an accident, the death of her 15-year-old autistic son, Timothy Ferguson. But as the layers began to peel back, the accident began to look more like a cover-up. Behind closed doors, investigators found evidence that Timothy had been subjected to repeated punishments and mistreatment. For months, the mother punished her disabled son in ways that defy reason. By the time officers arrived, Timothy's body was so frail, so starved, that he was almost unrecognizable. And she didn't do it alone. Her partner in this nightmare? Her own son, Timothy's brother, Paul Ferguson. This wasn't just another case file. It was a slow, silent tragedy that continues to haunt everyone who knows the story. As the investigation unfolds, one thing remains uncertain. Will they finally admit to what really happened, or continue insisting it was all done out of love until the very end?
Hello, ma'am. I'm Officer Stefanich. Right now, we got some people coming over to talk to you, okay? You have another son inside the house?
I do. Yeah.
Are they sleeping still right now?
One of them is, yeah. The 20-year-old's awake.
He's 20?
No, the 20-year-old's awake.
Okay.
He's been wearing really loose clothes the last couple of weeks.
He's really skinny.
He's really skinny, and I didn't notice till this morning because he wouldn't, I asked him if he's okay, and he would not answer me. He's 15. He's been...
He has autism?
Yeah.
Like a high functioning?
Yeah. I had no clue how bad he was. Oh my God. Like I said, he did this back in, my husband's stroke was January 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
So he did this back in, second week of January for almost 3 weeks. And then he ate something last night. I can't remember what it was now, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Where's your husband now?
He's down at his parents' house because he can't get in our house because of this drunk. He can't get up the stairs.
Oh.
And nobody's answering the phone at their house. How did he... Oh.
You can go back in the house if you want, but I can't. I gotta keep the basement secure. You can't go down there, okay?
I get it. I had no idea. I would have taken him in or something. Oh.
Now, you said the last time you saw him was 5:30 this morning?
Yeah.
Did he say anything?
He had fallen out of bed.
At 5:30?
Yeah.
You sure it wasn't earlier?
I mean, it's possible. I thought it was 5:30, but I wasn't super awake. I heard a thump, and I came down, and he's kind of laying on his side, kind of like, what the heck? And I reached out, and I'm sorry.
Before the cops could even ask about her son's wounds, she was already busy building her story. Suddenly, every bruise had an excuse. She claimed he'd just fallen off the bed, but was that really the case?
Oh my God. Yeah. And I reached out and he pulled himself up. And I asked him if he's okay. And I just asked if he hit his head. He said, no, I think I hit my knees on my chest. I think. He couldn't tell me how he fell. Oh my God. No, I don't know what to do. Oh my God. He said it was okay. And then,
Do you have other family here in town?
well, in West Olive, but they're not answering.
Yeah.
My father-in-law's an attorney.
Best thing to do is surround yourself with family. Help you get, because right now you're going through it by yourself, and you get overwhelmed.
I had no idea. How could I have missed that? He's been wearing baggy. I mean, he's wearing a hoodie for crying out loud, and I just didn't. His face didn't look like that. What the heck?
Now, what's your first name, ma'am?
Shonda, Shanda.
And what's your last name? Is it Ferguson also?
No, it's Vander Ark. Vander space capital ARK.
What's
No,
your,
that's why I asked him to eat last night, because his face started looking a little. I'm like, okay, enough. And he wouldn't show. I'm like, let me see. Hold your shirt up. And he wouldn't hold his shirt up. He wouldn't do anything.
Did he get real skinny last time too?
Yes. The only reason I know is because my 7-year-old walked in on him accidentally when he was in the shower downstairs. And then my 7-year-old comes up and he's like, Mama, Timothy's really skinny. I was like, oh.
Was that this time or last time?
That was last time. That was like first week of February is when DC discovered that. And I told him he was either going to start eating multiple times a day, or I was taking him to the hospital, and he didn't want to go to the hospital, so he
ended up eating on his own.
Yes.
Okay.
She claimed she had no idea her son had become that skinny, a statement that sounded almost comical next to the evidence. And when Timothy's body was found unclothed, the story she'd rehearsed so carefully began to crumble. It was the kind of detail that didn't just raise suspicion, it hinted at something far darker, something the world wasn't ready to hear. Not yet.
May of last year.
And he goes to school and everything, he was?
I've been homeschooling him online because it's high functioning. He's just done better at it. I can show you his grade report online. I've got all it's online.
Okay. Is he doing okay?
Yeah, he was failing math, which is not unusual, but he was passing everything else.
What's his date of birth?
This is 8/6/2006. I tried to check it in the last few days, and he just wouldn't let me anywhere near him. He didn't want a kiss, a hug, nothing.
Probably didn't want you to give him a hug, because then you could tell that
I
he
would
was...
have known. And I told him he was stumbling a little bit last night, but he's not the most coordinated kid in the world. And he said he was okay. And then he ate.
What was the last time he ate, you think?
Last night. No, Gabriel, keep him up there. He ate toast.
There's two. There's a 7-year-old and a 20-year-old.
The 7-year-old was asleep. I guess he's not now. Oh my God. I should have made him eat. I didn't know. I feel like such a failure. You see there's food in the house.
She kept insisting it was all about food, that she was only trying to make him eat. But the truth? It's nowhere close to what she claimed. And soon, those sweet little lies she kept repeating will shatter loud enough for everyone to hear.
Oh my God.
Where does he sleep at? Right there? In that room?
That loft bed.
Okay. So notice there's another loft bed in another room.
Yeah, that's my 7-year-old, but he's been sleeping with me since the youngest is my husband's and mine. And he's been sleeping with me since his daddy had a stroke.
Okay.
Because he's scared. And I offered to let Timothy move in there but he wanted to stay in his bed. Oh my God. No. I should have made him eat. I should have done something. Can they really hide that from me like that?
They can hide a lot of things from you.
Oh my gosh.
What's your date of birth, ma'am? What's your phone number? Pardon?
Where does he sleep?
Down there, right there in that room.
So that's
The bed.
Yeah.
You see the pillow and the blanket and stuff?
He sleeps on the top bunk?
Yeah, it's a loft. There's no on a bunk.
Okay.
There's stuff underneath it.
Oh, it's like a desk on the underneath?
Yeah, well, yeah, the desk got broken, but there's boxes underneath it.
So you heard him fall.
Yeah.
That woke you up?
Yeah.
And you went down there and he was...
And I helped him up. I asked him if he wanted something to eat, because the first time I noticed anything on even his face was last night. And he said, "No, I'm not hungry." I said, Did you hit your head?" And I checked his head to make sure he didn't have anything. I noticed he has some scratches on his face. I'm like, "Are you okay?" "No, I'm fine." And then I watched him get back up on his bed. And then I went back upstairs. And then I woke up and I wanted to check on him this morning when I was getting ready for work. So I went down there and I said something. I didn't see him wake up, and I shook him and didn't respond.
Was he on the bed when you came down there?
Yes.
And then you pulled him down and started CPR? Okay.
I called 911. And my 20-year-old was getting up because I was going to drop him off at work early, because his e-bike has a flat tire. Oh my gosh. I should have noticed this. I should have seen this.
Shonda presented explanations that initially seemed plausible to investigators. But here's the real mystery. Did she come up with that perfect little script in the short time before the cops arrived, or was the crime committed much earlier, giving her plenty of time to rehearse every lie?
Jeez. I feel... He's really good at hiding stuff. That's part of the reason his dad couldn't handle him, is because he kept lying about stuff.
How old is he?
15.
15?
He'll be 16 in August.
Okay.
But his dad texted me last May and said, "I can't handle him anymore. I have to send him to live with you." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely."
Why was that? What did he do that?
He was lying to him. He was destroying things.
Is he hard to deal with?
I don't think so, but I'm stricter than his dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that, I mean, he's the lying's been a problem. But nothing major.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
No. He's
All teenagers lie.
tripped down the stairs a couple of times, like just half the flight. And then later he came back to me, admitted he did it intentionally. But I've asked him, I'm like, "You're trying to hurt yourself?" He's like, "No, I just wanted to see what would happen." That's the way, a lot of times, he wants to see what would happen if he does stuff. And, oh my gosh.
And I guess he's prescribed ADHD medicine, but he's not taking it.
Yeah, because he wasn't able to sleep with it. And he was doing really well, and he asked me if he could not take it, and I said, okay. And it was killing his appetite. That doesn't help. He quit taking it about the time of the first hunger strike, because when he finally started eating, and he was.
But he did eat last night, you said?
Yes. He had some toast with butter on it. It's what he had. That's all he wanted to eat. He said his stomach was a little upset. He didn't want to eat anything else.
One thing the officer noticed right away. She couldn't meet his eyes. Not once. It wasn't guilt. It was fear. A quiet, guarded fear that suggested there was more beneath the surface. As the questioning continued, it became clear that her words were carefully chosen, layered to conceal what had really happened over the past few months.
You doing all right? Yeah, it's almost like you're in a daze. Like you don't know what's real and what's not. Have you been talking to him at all recently?
I talked to him yesterday morning to get him up.
That was right basically when we started.
Okay, so how long ago was that?
Did you know that he was in this hunger strike?
I think huh? Yeah.
I mean,
Did I tell you or not? I don't know if I did or
no,
not.
I don't think you did.
Because he's skin and bone.
I know, and I just, how did he?
He's really.
Well, he doesn't communicate with him hardly at all. Like, they say hi and they don't. Yeah, he's.
Are you guys full brothers or half brothers?
They're full. The only half is the one that's in there.
Okay.
We are full.
Yeah.
I might as well get your name while I'm here. You're probably going to be asked this 1,000 times, but what's your first name, son?
Paul, Paul.
What's your middle name?
Byron, Byron.
And last name?
Ferguson, Ferguson.
Nobody's answered the phone here.
What's your date of birth? You have your own phone number?
I recently got a new phone, so I want to look at my new number.
Hold on, I'll find it for you.
And when was the last time you talked to Tim?
Yesterday morning when I was getting him up.
No, yesterday afternoon before you left for work. Before I picked you up and took you to work because your e-bike tire was flat. You talked to him then.
I got off of work at 1
All right.
this morning.
Has he talked to you recently about his problems at all, or what he's dealing with?
No, he never said any of the word to me.
Mm.
Really talked at all.
Did you guys have normal conversations?
I think the last time we did was before all of this happened. After that,
They literally, because he works a lot and they didn't talk.
Yeah.
And sometimes brothers will tell each other what
That's true.
they're not willing to tell their parents.
Why you went on hunger strike? I mean, I'm assuming it's.
He didn't even know anything about it, he said, so.
By now, the cops had enough evidence to connect the dots, and every single one pointed to child abuse. The exact cause of death was still under wraps, waiting for more proof to surface. But one thing was already crystal clear. Timothy's life had been anything but peaceful, and his mother was right at the center of it all.
All right, you're going to be charged with child abuse right now. I believe it's the first or second degree. So it is a felony. So you won't be able to get out of jail until you see the judge, until the warrant paperwork's down there, okay? Which will probably be tomorrow. All right.
Sorry.
No, I'm the bearer of bad news right now. You know? Yeah, it's been a bad couple days.
Bad 6 months. I had a stroke 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Nope, you're all right. I do have to handcuff you, but I'll do it in the front.
If my blood sugar crashes, I need that.
Are you diabetic?
I'm reactive hypoglycemic.
Okay. You take medication for that?
No. I have a service dog normally, but I didn't bring him.
Yeah.
For good reason.
All right. I can let you have that all the way up until the jail. But the jail won't let you bring in any kind of food or nothing. So if you want to drink it, you can always drink it now.
Just worried I won't keep it to my stomach.
All right.
I haven't been able to keep anything down
Oh.
the last couple of days.
I don't want you puking then if you're going to try to drink it.
I can try. We'll see. I don't know.
All right. So I got my handcuffs on you, and I'll do it in the front because I don't. You're not going to give me any problems. But we're going to have to go down there.
Strength.
Pardon?
I don't have the strength to do anything right now. I wouldn't anyway. But did y'all lose an officer?
But I have to cuff you now.
Did y'all lose somebody?
Yes, a Detroit officer was killed yesterday.
I'm so sorry.
Yep. Come this way. I need you. I want to see if there's a girl here to check your pockets. I'm gonna see Bill's. The good part is that you're handcuffed in front, so it's much more comfortable.
Once she was in custody, attention turned to the next suspect, her partner in crime, her own son, Paul Ferguson. And this is where the real story begins to unravel. A story so twisted, you might not be ready to hear what comes next.
You came down here with Officer Stephanie, does that sound right?
Yes.
How did that kind of all transpire? How did you ended up here?
I was, I know that my mother had come, I think, down here.
Okay.
Or something. I think it was something in the court, or I don't exactly know the full details.
Okay.
But, She left my stepfather's phone with me. I don't have any access to anything. The only thing that I would be able to do was if the person she's with, I think his name is Stephen or Stanley. Yes, thank you. If he would contact, I would be able to pick that up, but
Okay.
nothing else.
Were you supposed to work today, or
No,
so you didn't have work today?
no, I've got a couple of days off.
Okay. You go back Saturday,
Sunday. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a morning shift.
Are you working 2 different jobs? Did you say you're working 2 different
No, I used to work 2 different
Oh,
jobs.
okay. I heard you
when
say
I
that.
lived in Oklahoma.
Oh, okay. Because I think your brother was like, I want to work 2 jobs. And you're like, no, you don't.
No, 4 hours of sleep maximum was a nightmare.
That's a joke. That's not even funny, actually. Huh. Yeah, 4 hours doesn't sound like a lot to get anything done. What kind of jobs are you doing?
Fast food.
Okay.
And I had one before, and then after I graduated from an alternative school early, I started a second one that was by my biological father's demands, basically.
Okay. Have you talked to him at all recently, biological father? Does he know kind of what's going on? Or?
I don't think quite yet. Last time we talked to him was last week.
Okay.
He and my stepmother got a divorce. So they called and let us know about all that.
What is your relationship like with him? I mean, do you associate with him at all, or not really?
Not really. I found out that a lot of what he's told me about my biological mother up here was nothing more than blatant lies.
Okay.
He said that she didn't care for me, that she never wanted to see me, which were both lies. It was just, he's a control freak.
Okay.
And he's very manipulative.
Okay.
My stepmother's names were never even on anything for like paying bills or for school stuff. It was all him.
Okay. So he was very much in
Yes.
control of everything.
Yes. So, and, I know that night Timothy did eat because we had pizza. He had 3 slices.
I want to stop you for just a second.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. I don't want to talk anything specific about the case just yet.
Okay.
Since the police showed up at your house and
Yeah.
they brought you down here, I want to provide you some rights before we talk about that sort of thing. What I do want you to know, though, is that we went through the phones, okay?
Paul appeared to repeat similar explanations to his mother's, suggesting that their statements were coordinated. But beneath all those excuses, one fact stood out clear as daylight. Timothy's death came from starvation. The real question is, how did it happen? You're about to find out.
Okay.
And we're beginning to go through the phones, and there's a lot of evidence in the phones, and I know that you're kind of aware of communication between yourself and your mother.
Yes.
And those sort of things. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
But, I mean, certainly those are very serious things that you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
And, from what I saw, it sounds like you were compassionate and that you cared about him, and you sent some pictures that were like, he's looking too skinny and we need to feed him. And, there's sometimes you got frustrated, but at the end of the day, you kept coming back to caring. But the end result of that, he passed away, right? And he passed away from not eating food, brother, because he deserves that. There's clearly a lot of messages about stuff that you guys are doing with him, about what he's eating, about restricting his food. How did that all work? Like, what was he allowed to eat?
We stopped the food restrictions recently because we had noticed his thin. We wanted to get that back on. We didn't want any of this. We never wanted him to be injured or hurt.
Okay.
I loved him so much.
Yeah, I can tell that. I can certainly tell that. When you say we, you're talking about your mother. And
Yes, she loved him. We wanted what's best.
Yeah.
The thing is, he was stuck in the past.
Okay. So you stopped the food restriction. When did that kind of happen? Like, ballpark that for me.
2 weeks, approximately. We were hoping that we could get enough where it would be safe, and then we could continue to add it back to where we wouldn't have to worry, and we could.
What were the restrictions?
We made sure that it was still something that gave him enough calories and everything. It was rice or bread, and like I said last week, he got pizza.
Okay. What were they in place for, like in the first place?
Sneaking food over and over and over.
Okay.
We've tried everything. We were nice. We tried different consequences, but he just couldn't never listen.
What were some of the other types of consequences? Like prior to, like, are we talking like?
We did take away his devices.
Okay.
Because that was also because he wouldn't stay on his school sites and would just go and try and play games or watch YouTube.
Okay.
But the thing is, he should have been held back so much.
Yeah.
But he passed all of his final exams. So I don't think it was my stepmother. My stepmother was amazing.
Yeah.
But I believe it was my father's doing.
Okay. Helping him pass exams. Was it all online school?
No, back in Oklahoma, he went to public. The thing is, he never really did any of the other work, but when it came to final exams, he had everything he needed to know. So they let him move to the next grade, which was just...
Right.
He's clearly backing his claims with some built-up logic. However, investigators continued questioning him to identify inconsistencies in his statements.
He's, what type of, like, disorders does he have that you're aware of?
I know he has ADHD. I believe he has sensory processing.
Okay.
I was never there for any sort of autism spectrum test, but from what I've seen, I know that probably was a thing. I also know he was motor and speech impaired. He couldn't run right and talk right. I think when he was younger, he had to have a surgery on his ears to have tubes put in because he has heightened hearing that was very loud noises could be painful.
Okay. So too much.
Yeah. The fact is that he could hear my stepmother talking with a friend about going to a movie with the TV when it was on really high volume.
Okay.
Because one of those sort of pointers.
What about you? Do you have any of those sort of things or anything?
I have ADHD.
Okay.
And I think they said I was diagnosed with sensory processing, but from what my mother has told me, that's just no.
So Timothy comes up here. What's life like immediately when he gets up here?
It was good at first. The thing is, this has happened before. Not like moving up from somewhere, but for the whole thing where I think he said, back in Oklahoma, I think once or twice he had said something about being suicidal.
Okay.
And we had put him in my stepmother and father agreed on this, that he could be institutionalized.
Okay.
And when he got back, the first couple of weeks were good. He didn't misbehave, but then after that, it just reverted back to what he was doing before.
Okay.
The destructiveness and everything.
Let's explain that. Like the destructiveness.
It was very dangerous. He would pull the outlet covers off. He would screw with the light fixtures. It was
okay.
Our house in Edmond was his room. He'd pull the studs out of the wall, rip off the paint. I mean,
okay.
It was, yeah.
Were you able to have a conversation with him like you and I are having, like a back and forth conversation, or he wasn't able to talk like that?
He could talk, but the thing is that it would mostly be hard to understand.
Okay.
Because of the speech impairment, I think it's called. I don't know what that word is.
Speech impediment?
Yeah, there we go. But he was in therapy for that and the motor.
When he up here?
No, in Oklahoma.
Do you know of him being in any therapy or anything up here?
No.
Okay.
He was dangerous to himself. That was their excuse. According to investigators, the defendants justified their actions by citing Timothy's disability, but evidence indicated ongoing neglect and mistreatment. No matter what they say now, nothing ever justifies the damage they've done.
Do you know if you ever went to the doctor at all?
Here? No, honestly, we never, until, I don't know, we managed, since we stopped the last hunger strike and managed to get him back to a safe weight, we were hoping and praying that he wouldn't need any sort of assistance at that point, which he didn't. He was fine. But then this whole ordeal happened, and
right.
I honestly feel like we should have taken him to the doctor sooner. We could have done something, but with all this that has happened, it's just...
Yeah. How long ago do you think you probably should have taken him to the doctor?
Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, I'd say the day after the divorce. We got the message about the divorce. And the thing is that my mother can't even face my father right now. She doesn't want to call him because the one thing that she and I both know is that he's going to hurl every ounce of blame that he can at her.
Right. So when was that divorce?
I think it was exactly a week ago today or tomorrow. Something like that.
So about a week ago. You thought, hey.
Yeah,
I saw on your phone that you had sent a couple pictures to your mom.
Yes.
Pretty skinny, and you said, hey, he's nothing but skin.
Yeah, I was very concerned. It just...
What do you think then maybe would have been a good time to take him to the doctor, or?
Yeah, honestly, that probably would have been one too. I don't know.
And then you sent a picture of his legs that were just basically gone, right?
Yeah.
No wonder he can't stand, or something along the lines of
that.
Yeah,
but the thing is, before yesterday, and I think the day before, he could walk.
Yeah.
He might need a little support every so often, like he put his hand against the wall or grab the rail of the stairs. But after a couple of seconds, he'd let go and be fine.
Okay.
Their excuse? He could still walk, as if shaky steps and paper-thin legs excuse months of neglect. Neither mother nor son provided adequate care for Timothy, but thankfully, the law exists.
It was never anything major.
Yeah. When was the last time he was really talking to you, able to have a conversation, or at least try to have a conversation?
Last time he actually talked was 3 days ago, but the day before, or the day after that, the day before yesterday, he could talk. He talked a small amount in the morning, but then he just sort of was making groans and moans, and it concerned me. As my mother was driving me to work, I recommended that maybe we should take him to the hospital.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that ever happened or not.
What did she say about that when you made that recommendation?
I don't know. I think after that, I think that was as I was getting out of the car and shutting the door.
So we're talking, today's the 7th, yesterday the 6th. What day are we talking the last time he was really kind of talking outside of the morning?
The 5th. He talked some in the morning. He was responsive.
Yeah.
That much I know.
What's the deal with the photograph in the bathtub of his face? Zoomed in on his face?
He'd been taking a bath.
Okay.
And I went in there to check on him at one point, and he's just kind of laying there. I'm like, "Bud, you okay?" He didn't respond, but he was looking around, and he was breathing. I know that much.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So at that time, but he wasn't talking at that time?
No, and it started to concern me. I'm not sure if I texted Mama about it or not.
Well, you sent a picture to her.
Yeah, I probably should have said something about the ER at that point, though.
Well, certainly.
It's so stupid.
You have to think about it like this, right? She's a grown adult, and if she sees that, that's not all on you, right? You made, from what I see, you made numerous attempts to say, we need to do something different about this.
Yeah.
We can't keep doing this to him.
I know she's a good person.
Yeah.
And it's not about... I don't know if this is both of our faults. If we should have done something sooner. I know we both could have.
Yeah. I think you have to think about this. Right now is not a time about blaming people, but it's a time to try to figure out, when could we have changed things? What could we have done differently? How did we get to the point where we were at? Because, clearly where you guys got to, you say you was in the bath. That wasn't a nice, enjoyable bath though, right? That was a punishment bath, right? That's a cold, ice cold bath.
Paul had been updating his mother about every tiny detail of Timothy's life, every move, every breath. Yet, suddenly, he doesn't remember if he told Shonda that Timothy wasn't responding while lying in the bathroom tub. Investigators questioned inconsistencies in Paul's recollection of events.
And that's hard to understand.
I did tell him that if he wanted to wash up, and he did, but then in the middle of it, I think the whole laying there in a daze happened.
When he's getting these ice baths, I know there's numerous of them, right? I mean, because I've read through the messages.
Yes.
How are you getting the ice? Like, where's it coming from?
We have an ice machine upstairs. It's not a lot. It can barely create any. It's enough to make it a full-on. But
it's a cold bath.
Yeah.
And you're putting ice in there? Like, one dump of ice, two dump?
One dump, yeah.
How many times would you estimate that you guys gave cold baths as a punishment for not behaving or whatever, for whatever reason?
I think for punishments, it was, I don't exactly know the number, but it wasn't a lot.
Are we talking like 5, 10, 20, every day, every other day? Like, any idea at all?
5.
Yeah. But whose idea was it to give him a cold bath as a punishment?
It was my mother's.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it would be a punishment effective or not. I don't.
Do you remember the first time you guys did it? Like, why? Like, what did he do?
Not exactly.
What did he do on that day that you sent the photo that made you have to give him a cold bath?
I think it was that he not only peed, but also pooped in bed, and my mother wasn't too happy because it absolutely reeked.
Yeah.
Authorities emphasized that disciplining a child in such a manner constituted abuse, particularly given Timothy's disability. And if you think that was Timothy's worst torment, brace yourself. The next truths are worse than you can imagine.
When we talk about bed, I understand we've been to the house and we've been through all the messages.
Yeah.
Where did he sleep most of the nights? In that closet?
Yes.
When did that kind of start happening? Or had he always been staying there?
No, he hadn't always.
Okay.
But the thing was, the loft bed, if you've noticed, the screws and stuff, that was his doing.
Okay.
And we couldn't get it safely back.
Yeah. So, he's sleeping in the closet?
Yes. We made sure that it was cleaned. He had a mattress in there, but then he decided to rip off the cover, like a sort of plastic cover we put on there to keep it from getting smelly and disgusting. We always wanted what's best for him. I don't know.
So you guys decided to move him into the closet. There's an alarm on the door. What's that for?
When he would try and sneak, because if you notice, there was also one on the garage door. That was also because, there's some food in there that he would try and sneak.
Right.
And it wasn't just that he was hungry at some points for those. It was that he wanted something sweet. And at times he would be taking stuff that was going to have plans for food, actual food.
Yeah, I agree. I see exactly what you're saying.
And I don't know about the whole, just bread at some points, but we did start giving him actual better food.
When you talk about the bedroom being moved into that closet, is that your idea or was that your mom's idea?
That was my mother's. Yes.
And so how long do you think he was staying in that closet for?
Couple of weeks maybe. Okay. I think we truly had started activating the alarm on the door every night after we had found that he would sneak out and get back up on.
Yeah.
Which was the loft bed. Where, like I said, that thing was dangerous at that point because he had been screwing around with the bolts and screws, and at any point it could have given way and he could have gotten seriously injured.
Right, yeah. So restriction on food, he talked about bread. For how long was he just eating just bread?
A week or two.
What was he kind of eating before that?
We do ramen, sandwiches, and I think at some points we actually give him like a meal.
Why was it that he couldn't have meals?
I mean, the whole sneaking, I don't know.
Because he was sneaking food?
A lot, yeah. We over and over and over.
Who's
There would
that?
literally be times where I would be sitting on the couch playing,
Yeah.
and then I'd look up and he's there grabbing something.
Yeah. And so, whose idea was it for him to just eat bread? Is that your idea?
No,
Whose idea was that?
my mother's.
Tell me about the hot sauce. I know that was used as both the punishment and it was put on the bread. Was it always on the bread?
Not always, no. But the thing is, it still hardly did anything for him.
Yeah.
There would be times where it would do something for me because I'd accidentally rub my eye after I put it on there. It was, ow.
Yeah. So you're putting, what dictates whether or not there's hot sauce on the bread that he's eating? What decides that?
I don't know. Whenever my mother told me to put hot sauce on it, I did. It was normally a thin layer to make sure that it wouldn't be too much. Because from what I know, the California Reaper is, 2,000 Scoville? Or 2 million Scoville?
What does that mean?
It's the hot sauce, or the heat index, basically.
Okay. And that's pretty high?
Very.
Yeah. So how long have you guys been using the hot sauce for?
Almost a month, maybe.
Okay. And was that only on bread or was that on other stuff too?
I think one time we put it in some rice.
Okay.
But after that, I don't think we did that again.
What was it used for, right? Because you're giving them bread as a meal. What's the purpose of the hot sauce?
I know it was punishment, but honestly, I don't think it was that useful because, like I said, he had no feeling in his tongue. He literally bit a hole in it at one point and didn't even feel it.
Was he eating this bread with hot sauce, or was he?
Yeah, he was.
Is that really the only things he had to eat those days, or would he get other things to eat?
From the bread and rice, other than that, not that I know of.
Okay.
We wanted the best for him, they said. Really? Because your version of best was locking him in a closet for days, forcing him to eat bread drowned in hot sauce just because he was hungry, or throwing him into ice-cold baths for peeing himself when you wouldn't even let him out to use the bathroom. Timothy wasn't living, he was surviving pure torment. And honestly, it sounds like his life with them was far worse than the place he's at now.
So for how long do you think he just ate rice and bread and hot sauce?
Maybe 4 months, maybe. Or 1 month, sorry. Jeez. I was
1 month.
thinking 4 weeks and my brain scrambled that.
We totally understand. I understand what you're saying. So maybe about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you see a decline in him during that 4 weeks of losing even more weight or being even less responsive? Or what changed when you moved into doing that?
I think it was that there would be times where it would take him a moment to respond. At first I thought it was just him acting, but then I was getting concerned, I think a week or so maybe ago.
Okay. That his responses are delayed, is that?
Yeah, and
as a matter of fact, I think you mentioned that to your mom multiple times, right? That he doesn't seem to be responding, that he can't walk very well, that he's stumbling. I think you mentioned those things too.
Yeah.
What was her response to those things?
I think she was thinking, because there was one point where he did that, but it was before he was thin.
Yeah.
And it scared the crap out of me, but then he admitted to my mother later that day while I was at work that it was an act.
Okay.
So I guess she made the mistake of believing that was what it was. I know that he's done stuff like that back in Oklahoma too. He would do something that would scare the crap out of us to make us believe that something was wrong. And several times here, he faked seizures. I've seen it and I've also seen what happens because back in Oklahoma, he had seizures from medication problems.
Okay. So she's able to communicate with them that way. She's communicating with you via text.
Yes, Timothy doesn't have anything to text with. He does, but I don't think, because we couldn't trust him on devices, so we couldn't exactly.
So you have her kind of monitoring everything.
I do sometimes at some points, yes. I will log into the cameras and make sure that I don't have Gabriel's app, because normally before I leave, he's upstairs in her room. He's been like that for a while. Timothy's or Gabriel's? I don't know about that one, honestly.
Do you know what app was Timothy's?
The one for his room, I think Mama had that one. I know the one in the bathroom was Blue something, BLU, and then something else.
Okay.
And then the one in the downstairs area was Tekken.
Okay. So I know that when we talked yesterday in front of your mom, you know, she was lying about some stuff, right? I know that she's a good person. I'm not doubting that at all.
Yeah, we never wanted any of this.
But you also noticed, like I know, that some of the things that she was talking was about weren't the truth, right? About, she said she didn't know there was a camera in the bathroom. But the fact of the matter, she asked you to put the camera in the bathroom, right? Didn't she send you a text message that says, make sure that the camera's in there and take the shower curtain down so I can see him? Didn't she ask you that the day before he passed away?
Yeah.
So we talked about some of that stuff. Remember how during the conversation I said, I know this pepper's for, it's for punishment. And what did she say? She said, oh, I didn't know anything about that, right? Why do you think she's saying those things? Why do you think
she doesn't want to appear like a bad person. She doesn't want to be the bad guy in this. We never wanted any of this. We want him to be healthy. I know that for a fact. We should have been so much. I should have at least put my foot down on something.
Right.
But it's not that I'm afraid of her. I can't fear her because she's not the type to instill fear.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's also what caused him to sometimes lie about things as well. Was that he still had this fear of Dad, and then he thought she would be the same.
Yeah. That could very well be the case.
She's nothing like him. That much I know. She's
right. But she knows that you shouldn't be using hot sauce as a punishment, right? She knows better than that. And you know better than that too, right? Yeah. I think that anybody with some common sense knows that hot sauce is not something used to punish a child for eating food that they're not supposed to eat, or for disrespect, or for not following orders. We know those things aren't okay.
I know that. We've tried so many different things. We just were running out of options of trying to find a punishment that would actually work. And even that did nothing.
Right.
And we still kept trying though. I don't know why.
So you have the hot sauce. Tell me about the handcuffs. I know that once again, she took no blame for that, right? And who did she put it all on? She put it all on you. She said that was your idea and that those were yours and that you did those things. But I think that's not the truth from what I read on here. What's the real truth on that?
So apparently nothing ever worked, so they just kept inventing new punishments until Timothy couldn't take another one. That's when the detective turned up the heat, asking Paul about the chats he'd had with his mother. And right there, the cracks began to show.
We would have him against the wall at some points, and he would try to move. And at one point, we'd actually put motion sensors on him to stop that. But
on him himself?
Yeah, like they were they would sense any sort of vibrations. Yeah. But the thing is, he'd learned to trick them by moving so slow, or they'd be on his door and they'd be moving so slow that it wouldn't set off. So you'd get away with stuff.
Okay.
So
you're saying standing still, was that like a punishment that he was forced to stand
on the
still?
wall? Yeah, against the wall. Was
that regular that he had to do that? Like how often was he having to stand against the wall?
Since 2 weeks ago, it wasn't very often.
Okay. Just because he couldn't physically stand against the wall anymore?
No, it was. I guess that it just didn't work because if he wouldn't set it off when he was against the wall, he would then it'd be on his it'd be on a belt around him. He'd stuff it in his pocket and then just sit down on the ground or lay down and stay like that.
So who's monitoring this all the time? Like, who's making sure he's not sleeping during the day? Who's making sure he stands against the wall?
When my mother was at work, she'd have me log in before she'd leave. I'd come upstairs and go back to sleep on the couch. I'd set an alarm normally for 10:30 to 11:30 so that I could wake up and be up to keep things going around the house, keep everything in order.
Okay.
So she never did any of this to be harsh.
Listen, I'm in no way questioning whether your mom cared or any of those things. I'm not. But the reality is we just have to talk about how we got to this point and how these decisions were made. So I don't want you to think that.
We also did stop the leg cuffs, I think, a while ago because we noticed that his ankles were swelling. So we stopped that because we didn't want his legs to become irreparable.
How often were you guys putting leg cuffs on him before that? Was that something like at night to stop him from moving around, or what was it for?
I think we did it once or so. Once, maybe twice at night. One time. I don't know. I'm so lost. I just don't know what to do.
What about handcuffs or zip ties? What did you guys use those for?
The zip ties were either to fasten the vibrational arms to his belt during the day.
Yeah.
Or to put it on his wrist, not too tight and I would make sure, after the first time we did it, I would make sure to cut off the end of the zip ties because I had them loose. And then he decided to tighten them to where they were nearly cutting off circulation.
Yeah.
So after that point, I myself, when I was told to put him in the zip ties, I'd grab a pair of scissors and snip off the ends to make sure that he couldn't tighten it to where it was cutting anything off.
Were you guys ever zip tying his hands together?
His hands, I think we did once when we had a pair of them that the zip cuffs.
Okay.
But again, I cut those off to make sure that he wouldn't tighten them. Yeah, because
what was that for? Why would you use those on him?
Normally we have him do this. It was something that I'm not sure if it was my father or my mother back when they were together, but when we were put in timeout, we'd be told to do this. And so sometimes though he'd try and do stuff like this, or just try and put his hands down or down by his side. So we do that to keep them.
Okay. Yeah. How long do you think you had those on for?
I think the zip ties, cuffs, probably when we first used them, it was when I would get ready to leave for work, I'd put them on, do the whole snipping, and then when Mama would get home, she'd grab the scissors and cut them off immediately.
Yeah. How long are we talking? Is this for a couple hours, 8 hours, 10 hours?
Normally the maximum was 3.
By this point, the officer could practically smell the confusion. Paul's words were all over the place. Nothing lined up. Not a single thing made sense. So the officer let him talk just a little longer. Then came the most important question, the night before Timothy's death.
Tell me about the night before. I know that you said you got home at 2.
Yeah.
Let's talk about kind of what really happened that night, because I know that...
I did take my meds. He was in his room. I didn't think to check. I should have, though. I should have made sure he was at least okay, that he was breathing. He could have been gone by the time I'd already gotten home.
Right. So when you first talked to us and you talked to the police, you said he was on his bunk bed, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the truth.
No.
Okay. He was in that closet that's right there by the bunk bed?
Yeah.
Okay. And then your mom had texted you that earlier in the night, or how did you know that he was in there?
I guess at that point it was just something I would already know because I have a slight problem. It's not like a problem, just a small sort of OCD with the light switches.
Okay.
So I'd go upstairs and I'd take my meds, and normally the light switches by the back door, I'd want them down. And then when I'd come over to the stairs, normally when I'd flip it down, the light in the dining room would turn on. So I'd go to the stairs and flip it to turn the light on for the stairs, and the ones in the dining room down, off. Go downstairs and then flip that switch to get the stairs off, and then the one in there would turn on. And that was how I would know he wasn't in the bed. And then go and turn the ones off at the start of the hall, and then turn off the light with the switch by my bedroom.
So you know he's not in the bed.
Yes.
So you told us that you heard him snoring. Was that a lie?
Yeah.
And did you come up with that on your own, or did somebody ask you to say that he was in the bed? It's okay.
I know.
It's okay.
Apparently, Shonda had roped Paul right into her web of lies. First, she swore there was no camera in Timothy's bathroom, lie number 1. Then, she coached Paul to say he heard Timothy snoring in bed the night before he died, lie number 2. Piece by piece, their story was falling apart, pointing straight towards something far darker. The real truth behind Timothy's death, and it's about to come out.
I feel so guilty, like I could have done something at any point in this.
But you're not. Yours, brother. And you have a mother that's telling you what to do. And so, I understand why you feel the way that you do, but at the same time, you have to look at it. You think that your mother's telling you to do what's best for him, right? That's what you've been telling me since
Yeah.
you came in here.
And I know she wants what's best for all of us.
So, I'm back to my question. Did somebody ask you to say that he was in the bunk bed?
I came up with that on my own because I didn't want. I feel so guilty.
You came up with that on your own?
Yeah, because
So tell me what really happened in the morning then, because obviously what was told to us wasn't the truth. What really happened when somebody found him, or
I woke up and I had been grabbing my shoes, and it was at that point that it basically all played out like we said. The whole morning thing was exact. He wasn't breathing in the closet. It was the closet though. We had to get him out of the closet to try and resuscitate.
So it's you and your mother that tried to get him out of the closet.
We did get him out.
Okay.
And we tried to resuscitate.
Who noticed him first? You or
My mother.
Okay. Did she have asked you via text to check on him on the way up? That's not what happened. She said, "Hey, can you check on him on your way upstairs?" Do you remember that text message at all?
No.
Okay.
There might have been one that I didn't see, but
Okay. So you guys pull him out of the closet.
we tried to resuscitate him. We gave him rescue breaths. His breath smelled horrible. I thought maybe he might have still been capable of being resuscitated because his mouth was still wet.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe it had just been recent, so we could do something. But
So when you guys pull him out of the closet, does he have clothes on at that point, or is he in a diaper, or what's that state?
he had a shirt. I think we had put him in pants or sweatpants, but I don't know. Maybe some point in the night he took them off. I don't know about
When you
that.
say we, you weren't there though when he went to bed, right?
No.
So how would you know if we put him in sweatpants? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So do you know if he had pants on or not when he went to
No,
bed?
honestly. But he didn't have them when we got him out. He had the diaper on, at least.
So he has the diaper on. You're saying that he has a shirt on? What shirt does he have on?
The very same sweatshirt that we found him in. Because obviously we didn't want him to get cold. Or I don't think Mama wanted him to get cold. I'm pretty sure she texted me about that. I'm not sure.
Okay. So you guys pull him out. Does he have pants on or no pants on?
None, no.
And when we get there, he has pants on.
Yeah, she had me put them on.
She asked you to put pants on. What
Yeah.
was that for?
I don't know. I just...
And so you guys, at that time, she decides that she's going to lie to him and say that he was in the bunk bed? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Clearly
She doesn't want to seem like she's bad. That we weren't neglecting him. And even if that's if it somehow ended up like that, it was never intentional.
Right. Well, what you're saying, I mean, if we talk, right, there's all these things where you're like, she didn't want it to seem like this. She didn't want it to seem like this. She didn't want it to seem like this. Did you know that it all seems like that, right?
Yes, I know.
It does. And he clearly was neglected because he died from it, right? The reality is that he was. That's why we're here talking today. So he was very much neglected. And the fact that, you know, she had asked you to put hot sauce on his private parts. Do you remember that?
She asked, but I never did. I never
You
did.
never did that?
No.
Okay. And she had asked you to put hot sauce directly into his mouth. Did you do that?
Yes.
Is that on the 5th, the day kind of leading up to all this stuff?
Yeah.
How much hot sauce did you put in there?
That,
And whose idea was that to put that hot sauce in there?
hers.
And what was the purpose of that?
Again, she thought the whole unresponsive was an act.
She thought it was an act, which clearly, very clearly, it wasn't. Right?
Yeah.
What is the hot sauce that you used? Is that the one that was in the bathroom, or is there a different one?
That was the one in the bathroom, yeah.
Okay.
By now, the officer had heard enough. The stories, the excuses, all of it. It was time to cut through the lies and go straight for the one thing Paul couldn't fake anymore, his conscience.
She told you, right? She told you what to say. It's okay. She told you what to say. Because why? Did she tell you why? Because it would look bad for you guys?
It's not just that. We loved him.
Can I ask you this, like, straight up? You keep saying love, love. Do you feel like this was love? That he's dead now because he couldn't eat food? Does that feel like love to you?
No.
He's dead because he couldn't eat.
No.
And I don't know anybody that thinks that's love. What I think's happening is your mom's convinced you that she's this perfect person, and she's asking you to do all these things that are literally killing your brother.
I know she's not perfect.
How is that love? How is love? How is love ice baths? How is love? How is love handcuffing? And how is love restricting movement? And how is love hot sauce in the mouth and only eating bread with? What if you only got to eat bread? How would you feel? What if you only got to eat bread with hot sauce? Would you eat?
No.
You're pretty skinny already. It wouldn't take you long.
This is my natural weight. I have an overactive metabolism.
But it wouldn't take you long to be very much skin and bones if all you got to eat was bread and hot sauce. Because how could you eat it? And how could you feel good about eating it? Was he throwing up stuff that he was eating?
Forcefully, he would force himself to get it back up.
When? Like recently, in the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, he would force himself, honestly.
You ever think it's because maybe it was painful? It's hot sauce. It's not like that just goes away. Did you ever complain about pain, stomach pain, pain from using the bathroom?
Not that I know of, no. I do know that my mother, she's not perfect, but she's not a bad person.
Do you know, can I ask you this? Do you know of any good people who starved a child to death? Tell me of one that you know. Tell me of one that you know. That's a child who has a lot of problems, right? That's not a child that's taking care of themselves. They can't take care of themselves because you guys are restricting where he can go and what he can do. And if he does something wrong, you're punishing him by giving him ice baths and hot sauce and only feeding him bread. How is that? How is that a loving person? How is that a loving mother? You know what that sounds like to me? And honestly, the worst mother I've ever met in my entire life. That's what it sounds like to me.
I know, but she's not.
Maybe she wasn't to you. Maybe she was a good mother to you. And maybe she wasn't to Gabriel. Sounds like she's a very good mother to Gabriel. But to one of the three children, she didn't care. You can say it if you want. She starved him to death because he wouldn't stop taking food. Well, maybe he's taking food because he wants to live. Have you ever thought about that?
Yes.
Maybe he's stealing food so that he can survive. He's dead because he didn't get food.
I know that.
Well, that's not anybody's fault but your mother's. And you can try to take some of the blame if you want, but it's her fault, because every single time I see a message in here, it's her telling you what to do. And she put you right in the middle of this. She put you right in the middle of this, where it looks like some of the stuff's your idea. And it actually looks like in some of these things that you kind of enjoy it. That you kind of enjoy punishing him for doing wrong things. Do you feel like you kind of enjoy punishing him for that stuff?
No.
Maybe not that he was in pain, but that you were in charge and you got to tell him, you can't do that. Go do this. This is your punishment. Did you like some of that stuff?
No.
Did she like some of that stuff?
No.
How come you guys are laughing and joking about it sometimes with smiley faces and like...
If it's the upside down smiley face,
Yeah, what's that mean?
it's the opposite of happiness.
Okay.
It means that I'm really angry,
Okay.
and she's kept me calm, like I said.
Because he made you mad a lot, right? It sounds
Yes.
like he made you mad a lot. But when you look back on it, do you think he really could control it? Clearly he needed help. He didn't need punishment. He needed some help. He couldn't make those decisions or do those things on his own. You saw it over and over and over and over again, right? What was your mother's choice? Her choice was more punishment, less food. More punishment. The only food you get is bread. And the only bread you get, sometimes, is with the hottest hot sauce that we can find. That's all you get to eat. There's no way that you can look at yourself and think, that's okay. And that your mom's good for that. She was doing what's best for him. How could that be best for him? Why couldn't it be a piece of chicken that's cooked? Why couldn't he eat that? Why does it have to be bread with hot sauce? It's not about punishment. You need food to survive. You need food to live. He didn't get to live because of that. Because of what you guys did. And I'm sitting here talking to you because I think that way more of it has to do with your mom than you. I don't think that you're this bad person who was out here doing these things. But you're also still not telling me the whole truth about what happened that night. About the night that he ended up dead. That there's more to that story.
I've told you everything that I have. I don't want to live a life where I regret the fact that I hid somehow, something, and I've told you everything I know.
How do you feel about living a life where you hid that your brother wasn't eating from society, that you hid that your brother was dying? How do you feel about that?
I hate myself, okay? If I could take his place right now, if I could give him back his life, I'd do it in a dadgum heartbeat.
Did your mom ever do anything like this to you?
No. Not even back when she and...
Investigators then presented the key evidence that clarified the timeline of events. And Paul's reaction? It said everything.
She cared. She never wanted this. We didn't
But you sent her pictures of him looking dead, right? Looking almost dead?
Yeah. When was that?
That's your brother.
Yeah.
That's June 13th, less than a month ago. You sent this picture to her and you said, he's looking like a skeleton, we need to give him more food. But you guys didn't give him more food over the next couple weeks. You guys gave him less and more punishment and less bread and more bread with hot sauce. That's what really happened. You reached out to her and said, this is scary looking, right? You probably thought, he can barely walk. You sent a picture of his legs, right? You sent this picture of his legs to your mother. Right here. You sent this to her. And what'd you say? Something along the lines of, no wonder he can barely stand up or walk. Look at that. And your mother, being smart and intelligent and the smartest woman in the room, she didn't do anything about that? Didn't think about taking him to the doctor? Didn't think about, we have to give him some more food, like seriously now? Instead, what do you think she did? She gave him less and more punishment. Until what? He ends up dead. And what did she tell the police? He was always wearing baggy clothes, so I didn't notice anything until last night. Another just blatant lie. Another blatant lie. If this was all an accident, why would she lie to us? If this was all an accident, why wouldn't she just say, we were having a really hard time with him. I thought he was okay. No, she knows that he looked like this. That he looked like this. Look at his face right there. That's not who your brother looked like, is it?
No.
He didn't look like that. Does that look like it? That looks like somebody in a casket that you see at a funeral. That's what that looks like. And it's sickening and disgusting. And you sent this picture to her too, didn't you? You sent that to her, didn't you?
Yeah.
You sent that to her on July 5th. Right before the day leading up to him being found dead. Does he look like he's okay right there?
No.
Why'd you send that picture?
I was concerned.
Yeah, once again, you're not the smartest person in the room and you're concerned. Did she do anything about it? No, you know what she said? He's going to sleep in the bath all night tonight. He's sleeping in the bath all night tonight. The smartest woman in the room. He's getting in the bathtub all night for punishment. Make sure the shower curtain's away so I can see him. And what happens later on that night? At some point between the time this picture is sent and the time you wake up in the morning, he dies. Because he's alive right here, right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
He's alive. Did she tell you to smack him and see if he blinks? Or is that a different time?
That was...
Is that this time or a different time? You smack him in the face to see if he's faking it?
I was trying to see what was going on, trying to see if he would even respond, if what was going on with him.
Because to you,
scared.
not the smartest person in the room, to you, you already know. This isn't okay. This is a dying person. This is your brother dying.
Investigators later determined that Timothy had suffered severe malnutrition and prolonged neglect. His body showed clear indicators of sustained abuse, suggesting that what happened was not a sudden act of violence, but a long period of deliberate deprivation.
And I would come back a little later and I would notice that he actually had moved himself back down. I wasn't sure if it was intentional or if he was trying to clear up his airway maybe.
But just move it. What is that supposed to mean? Well, he must be okay because he moved a little bit? That's where we're at?
I wasn't
He's
sure about
so far gone that you're like questioning if he moves a little bit, he must be okay? Come on.
I wasn't sure.
Where did that stuff come from? Where did that come from? Didn't your mother send you messages that said, I saw him move? I saw him. Did she send that to you?
Yes.
Then what does that mean to her? That it's fake? Is this fake to you?
No.
Is your brother lying on the floor dead? Is that fake to you?
No.
You know who it didn't matter to at all? You know who I didn't see shed a single tear the whole day I was there? Your mom. Did you see her cry a real tear?
Yes.
I saw a whole bunch of fake. You know what my job is to see? Fake. You know what I saw a whole bunch of? Fake. Because at the end of the day, your brother gone, that's a problem for her that's gone. She never was trying to solve this problem. She was never trying to make him into this perfect person because she's smart enough to know that isn't going to happen. He's never going to be you. He's never going to be Gabriel because he has too many problems. He's not going to be that. She's smart enough to know that. That's how we ended up here. The smartest woman in the room took advantage of you. And she asked you to do these things over and over and over again. And this is the woman you're sitting here saying she cares so much. Does she really though? She asked you to handcuff your brother, pour hot sauce in his mouth. She asked you to pour hot sauce on his penis. Your mother asked you to do those things. Because she cares so much. She put you in that spot. And now you're right in the middle of an investigation in which your brother died. And this is criminal. This is a crime. Did your brother deserve to die?
No.
Should he be dead right now?
No.
Is he dead by the choices of others?
Yeah.
Who made those choices? Who made the choices for him to be dead right now? Did you make some of those choices?
No.
Who made those choices?
Mama.
Yeah. She did, didn't she? That's what's real.
Paul finally broke. He admitted it. It was all his mother's plan, and he was just the pawn she played. What he didn't realize, though, was that the real punishment wasn't prison. It was living every day with the weight of his own conscience. And the fight with his conscience started right after this moment.
I just feel like I could have done something. I should have put my foot down at some point. I loved him so much.
What would have happened? What would have happened with your mom if you put your foot down? What would have happened?
I don't know. Maybe something would have been different. Maybe he would still be alive. I promised him before the whole thing with Mama and Dad that I would protect him, but I failed so hard. I failed. Oh, I'm so sorry.
The autopsy confirmed what everyone feared. Timothy had died from malnutrition and hypothermia. The medical examiner ruled it a homicide. After hours of interrogation and deeper investigation, the truth was undeniable. The mother and her eldest son were the ones responsible. Shonda was found guilty of murder and child abuse in the starvation death of her own son. On January 29, 2023, she was sentenced to mandatory life in prison. As for Paul, he faced 1 count of first-degree child abuse for his role in the crime. And then came the moment that silenced the entire courtroom. When Shonda was shown a photo of Timothy's lifeless body, her reaction? A sudden, violent breakdown. For the first time, the mask slipped, and reality finally hit.
You gave Timothy a warm bath the night before he passed away, that last night, July 5th. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
That was the first time you've told anybody connected to this case that you'd done that, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You never told the police officers you did that, did you?
No, sir.
I imagine a warm bath sounds just like, it's just what it sounds like, right? You got him, you took him to the bath, you grew a warm bath for him, and you put him in the bathtub, right?
Yes, sir.
This is hours before he dies, right?
Yes, sir.
You look like that when you put him in the bathtub?
I'm sorry.
Gotta make me a moment. Yes. Miss Vanderhoek, do we have a trash can? I did. I placed a trash can. You did? Yes.
The case raised difficult questions about how prolonged neglect and abuse can develop within a family environment. So what do you think? Is evil born, or is it made behind closed doors by those who twist love into control? Let me know your thoughts below, because some truths are too dark to stay silent about.